All right. First, I want to apologize for looking 50 Shades of Ratchet. I had planned on doing something with my hair, but I sat in a training for 9 hours today, so this is what you get. Okay. So, like I said, I've only been coaching for 3 months. I started Beachbody about a month and a half before I started coaching. So in that time, I had some pretty great results. So when I decided I wanted to coach, I had, some before and after pictures that I thought people would be interested in. And once I felt like this program actually worked and could work for other people, I was like, what the heck? So that's kind of really how I got into coaching. I was like, this works. And I can't be the only person who has failed at Whole30 and just a low calorie diet. I was looking into keto and that just sounded horrific. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I did, and I liked it. So I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. So here are 3 things that have helped me, I guess, kind of get my business off the ground and running. So I'm going to list them for you, and then I'll go into detail about it. The first one is sharing consistently. Second is fully committing to a program. And the third is never take no for an answer. So I have notes. I'm that person that's super organized and they're all bullet pointed. So bear with me. So sharing consistently, I think it's just super important that you show up every single day on your story and a post, I think Lauren and I were talking about it, and there's a small percentage of people that actually see your posts and a small percentage of people that actually see your story. So you need to be hitting both of those so that, you're getting double the people, hopefully, that are seeing those things. But it should be a non-negotiable for you to show up every single day, workout or not. And if you're not working out, you best be on there telling people why you're not working out. If it's a rest day, be like, yo, it's a rest day. I'm about to rest like it's my job. Or if you're sick, like Morgan was, she gave it the old college try, but she was like, I'm sick. I'm not working out today. Are you kidding me? Because people are watching for your consistency. They're watching. They may not watch all of your stories about working out, but they're checking to see if you are working out. So I think that is just important to share with them exactly what's going on. So with that, I think it's super important to share about coaching and life. And this is something that I really struggled with at the beginning, that Paige kind of told me, hey, people want to know who you are too, not just that you're working out and eating healthy all the time. So people actually want to know what you're into. Think about how you felt when you first started getting into this, or whoever your coach is. You wanted to know about them, to know if you had anything in common with them. I mean, you knew they worked out and they ate healthy, but what else is there to them? They want to connect with you on some other level. So you need to share about coaching and your health journey, obviously, but you also need to share with them, I have a dog. And if people don't know that I have a dog by now, then they have not been paying attention, because I post about her often because she's cute and I love her, but also because people want to know, any other dog moms out there want to connect with me. I think that that's just important, to share life and health and fitness with them. And I know they kind of intermingle, but you're more than just working out and eating healthy all the time. So more important than that, I think it's important to share your struggle. Not just, if people think that you're a workout robot and all you do is eat salad all the time, because that's what you're showing, they will never, ever, ever relate to you. They want to know what you struggled through to get there. We all struggle daily. If you've got this thing down pat and you don't ever want ice cream or cheese or bread, and you don't ever cave and eat those things and eat too much of those things, first of all, you're probably lying, because I know I do it. But secondly, how else are they going to be able to get on board? Because I remember the first month that I joined Beachbody, I would do really good for one day and then not do really good for one day, and then do really good for one day and not do really good for one day. So if they think that you have to be perfect to do this, they will never, ever start. You weren't perfect when you started, and I'm still not perfect. I don't know about you, but there is always at least 1 pint of Halo Top ice cream in my freezer that's going to get eaten just about every single week. Granted, I try to use it as a treat day, but sometimes life happens and I give in. So you have to share the struggle with them. Do you struggle with working out? Not all of us jump up every morning at 5 a.m. and say, I'm so stinking excited to work out and be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, this is the dream. That does not happen. You know, there are some mornings when we don't want to get up. There are some mornings where we don't get up. There are some days when we just don't want to work out, period. And there are some days that we don't work out. So you have to share with them the struggle, because if they think that they have to be perfect and that you're perfect, they're never going to join you because they can't relate to you. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Also, like your journey, like what got you here? I tried fad diet after fad diet, lost weight, gained weight back. You know, I needed to relate to someone on some kind of level. And for me, one of the things that I related to Paige about was that she had bukus of student loans, and I've made a hobby out of racking up student loans, apparently. So I wanted a way to pay those off. And when she was talking about paying off X amount of money, I was like, yo, I want in on that. I want to pay off some of my student loans. So that's what hooked me. And you need to find a couple of things that hooked you whenever you kind of made that leap to join, and talk about those things often. I don't talk about those nearly enough, but also I'm still kind of new. So I haven't gotten to the point where I'm being responsible with my coaching money yet. I'm still kind of like living the life and buying concert tickets and whatnot with my coaching money. But eventually the plan is that that money will go straight towards student loans, and I can start talking about how that's changing that part of my life. So find a couple of things that coaching and Beachbody in general, even, you know, we're not talking about just recruiting coaches. These are challengers. You're just trying to get people in and get them started on this journey. Find something that they can relate to. So then number 2 is being fully committed to a program and a meal plan. If you don't commit 100%, then you're never going to see consistent progress. Ever. You're never going to see consistent progress. There's another baby on here and it just really caught my attention. You're never going to see the progress. And if you don't see consistent progress, then no one is going to wonder what you're doing. You know, everyone's a sucker for a good before and after picture. I think I have more likes on my before and after pictures than I do any other picture that I post. Everyone wants to see how far you've come. But you're never going to consistently have those before and after pictures if you don't commit and stay committed to a program. You know, it's all good and well if you can share this picture, but if you can't take that second after picture and make it a before and have another after to go with it, you're stuck. And, you know, people want to see progress because they want to believe that they can also make progress. Let's see. Oh, yeah. How can you can't move forward if you're not committed. You know, and I'm not saying that you have to be perfect, but you have to give it a good try. You know, like I said, we all fall off the ladder. We all eat a little too much sometimes. We all indulge a little too much. We all skip a workout here and there. But if that's the beauty of this, that if you make it a lifestyle, 1 or 2 days of being bad isn't going to hurt you that much, and you can still hop back on and continue to make progress. Also, something that's big for me is how can you coach and counsel people into fighting temptation and working out daily and laying off the ice cream if you're not committed to doing that yourself? That just feels really yucky to me. I tried to sell Plexus, and I'm not hating on Plexus. I think that it's great, but it was way too expensive for me to keep buying every month. But I was trying to sell it to people and wanting them to pay the money to do it. And that just felt kind of dirty to me, you know? So you can't sell something to someone if you don't believe in it and if you're not committed to doing it, you know? Again, it goes back to sharing the struggle. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. You know, you have to show your progress and your regression. You know, if you gain weight, tell them, I gained weight. Here's probably why I gained weight. You know, I almost know where that came from. That bag of Doritos I ate yesterday is probably why I'm up this morning. So, I mean, but still, you can be consistent and get that bloat off the next couple of days. After Christmas, it was crazy to me because every coach that was on my Instagram was talking about how they gained weight or how they were so bloated and just felt so yucky. And then, you know, after a little while, when they got back on track, everything kind of just flowed nicely, right on. Everyone lost the bloat, lost the Christmas pounds, and was back on track. That's what this program does when it becomes a lifestyle for you. Once you're committed to it, then it's easy to get back on track. Okay, and the last one is never take no for an answer. And I'm not telling you to argue with someone when they say no to you. That's probably not the best idea if you ever want them to be on your team. But you should always be respectful and give them the, oh, I understand, I totally get it. You know, just tell them what they want to hear. Try to relate to them. You know, if they're like, money's just really tight, I'm a college student, I'm like, me too. You know, when I started, we had to pinch pennies and try to figure out a way for me to do this. You know, you can do that. But when I hear someone say no, what I actually hear is not right now. So when they say no, I'm like, oh, I get it. And in my mind, I'm like, I'll be talking to you in a couple of months when you decide that your no is going to be a yes, because you're going to keep watching and you're going to keep realizing that you actually do want to do this. So when you hear no, don't hear a hard no. Just think to yourself, not right now. And they may come around and they may not. But more times than not, I would say a fourth of the people that are in my challenge group right now told me no the very first time I talked to them about it, or the very first time that they contacted me and I gave them information. I would say a fourth of them were no's that turned into yeses later on. And when someone doesn't respond and they ghost you, which is almost the worst because you kind of just, I don't know, it feels weird to me when that happens. But let's see, whenever someone doesn't message back, I kind of just think to myself, oh, they're not ready to talk to me yet. You know, it's not that they don't want on board. It's just that maybe they're not ready to have that conversation yet. I actually had a girl the other day that I messaged in November. And I was like, hey, thank you so much for supporting me and liking my picture on Instagram. I hope you're doing well. If you ever want any information, let me know. And she read it like 5 seconds after I sent it and did not reply. And Monday night she messaged me and she's like, okay. I think I'm ready to do this. I wasn't ready when you messaged me before, but I'd like more information now. So it's not that they are being rude or mean. It might just be that they're not ready to have that conversation, or that they don't want to tell you no. So they kind of just feel like they're sparing you your feelings by ghosting you. I don't know. But if they don't respond, then follow up with them still. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be in their inbox every day, but a month or two down the road, if they continue to watch your stuff, this girl liked almost every picture that I posted. So I had a plan to follow up with her anyway, but she just happened to get to me first. So if they don't message back, but they continue to like and continue to watch, follow up with them. They just might not have been ready when you messaged them the first time. Or they might have just been watching to see how consistent you were going to be and make sure that you're the real deal. You and I both know that this program works. So at this point, if you don't believe in it yet, you might not want to be trying to recruit people, because like I said before, you can't sell something to someone that you are not fully committed to and fully believe in. So believe in it, because we know that it works. It takes consistency and commitment to get progress, and it takes progress to get people to trust you and get on board with you. Does that all make sense? Yes? Okay, those are my 3 things.
Okay, so I see somebody else talking.
There's a chat. Let me see.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You have a question. When you go back and ask, how do you go back and re-ask? So Chelsea, I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Are you asking about like follow-up? So you say it one time and then they don't respond, what would be your next message? Or if she literally says not right now, what's your follow-up message to her?
Yeah, a lot of times, so like for this particular girl, if I would have followed up with her after she didn't answer me the first time when I just asked if she wanted information, I would just follow up and say, hey, Haley was her name. Hey, Haley, I just wanted to say thanks so much for the continued support by liking my pictures on Instagram. It's just super encouraging that, you know, you take the time out of your day to watch and read my posts. I probably wouldn't even mention Beachbody at that point because I've already asked if she wanted information. She already read and didn't answer. So I think I would just respond with the like positive, encouraging, hey, thanks so much. And maybe just get a conversation started that way. But if someone has said no, I will usually respond to a no later on if I'm like running a sale, as like an incentive type thing, especially if money was their issue, which I know a lot of us probably get. You know, I don't have the money right now. I would probably go back on something like that and say, hey, I know we talked earlier and money was an issue whenever we talked, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm running this super great deal where I'm giving away a $15 gift card to the first 3 people that sign up this month. So I don't know if that would help you or not, but if so, let me know and I would be happy to give you more information or something like that. You know, money people, I always reach back out to them if I'm offering something extra that might help them financially.
So something else I've found out that really helps in conversations. So you start a conversation. If they're interested at all, asking them, okay, what are some of your goals? And then what are some things that you've struggled with in the past? So for example, maybe it's nutrition. So your goal then is to tell them everything we have that's going to help them with nutrition. So like you could mention Shakeology there and tell them the ways that Shakeology has helped you with nutrition. You could mention how simple our meal plans are and how that's helped you with nutrition. Whatever it is, be honest. Make sure it is your actual experience, but make sure every person you talk to knows that we have all of the solutions for all of their goals and all the problems they've had before. But just like Meredith said, I think one of the biggest things is you have to believe in it yourself. Like if you're just feeding them a line or you don't have the belief yet, it will 100% come off that way. So once you, and it's not even like once you get to that place where you've arrived at your goal body or whatever, it's like you can be on the journey still and understand how all of these things have completely changed you. So I think that's a really important thing for all of us to figure out is how much do we believe in this? And then recognizing that no isn't an option. Like literally everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody. I know we have the solution for like 95% of people. There are those crazy people who love going to the gym. It's true. But most people, this is like the perfect combination of community, workouts, and nutrition. Like it doesn't get better than doing it at home, in my opinion. And I truly, truly believe that. And if you're not there yet, start there because you won't help anybody if your belief is not 100% there.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, I just recently got on the Shaco train. Crazy, right? But when I first started, I couldn't afford to get shakes every month, which I only started 3 months ago. But that first month, you know, whenever I got my first free month was done, I couldn't afford it anymore. So I would even go so far, which maybe don't do this because you're going to lose money this way. But I would tell people whenever they were asking, I would say, you get 1 free month of shakes. And in parentheses, I would always say, but you don't have to keep buying these because I knew that that was such a big thing for me. Approached about starting Beachbody is I always felt like I couldn't try to sell them this stuff because I couldn't afford it myself. So I would even go so far as to say, you know, I wasn't buying them. So I didn't feel like I could talk about, it says my internet is unstable. Oh no. I didn't feel like I could talk about Shaco and try to sell them on how great the superfood shake was because I wasn't even drinking it myself because I ran out and I couldn't afford to buy any more. So, I mean, you kind of like, my point about that is there are different products. I drink Energize and I think it's the greatest thing in the entire world. But if you don't drink Energize, then you can't speak from experience. And I'm not saying don't offer it to people, but I'm also saying you can't say, oh, it's so great. I love Energize. It's supposed to give you so much energy. I would just say, I personally haven't tried it, but I've heard really great things about it because you don't want to come across as a fraud. And the people that you talk to may not ever even know that you've never tried Energize before. But by some off chance they find out, they're never going to trust you. And I think that it's big for me that my girls trust me and trust that I'm doing the same things they're doing and going through the same things they're going through. So I just think it's really important to be as authentic as you can. And, like Paige said, believe in what you're doing. You can't believe in Shaco and all the benefits that it has if you're not drinking Shaco, So I just think being authentic will get you a long, long way in this business. It has for me so far.
Okay, so I want to mention one more thing, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. If you have specific questions for Meredith, for sure. If you have questions for me or anybody else you see here that you're like, hey, you do this thing really well, and I need to know some information about this. So I remember whenever I very first started, I was really concerned about making money, not like making profit, but like breaking even, because my husband was very skeptical. And he was like, if you're not making money by 6 months, you're quitting. And I was like, okay, then I'm going to make money ASAP. And I made sure I made it work. So before I ever even signed up, I talked to Megan, who's my mentor, and I said, tell me what I need to do to make money. And I will do it. I will literally do anything it takes. It took me 3 weeks to make my first paycheck. And I've made paychecks, I've made profit every single month since then. And it's because she told me, she was like, to make profit, the only thing you have to do is help 3 people a month. I was like, you're kidding me, right? Like 3 people a month, that's it. So from day one, it became a non-negotiable for me. It's like, if I have not helped 3 people this month, I will work until my fingers fall off. Like, that is the attitude I took. And you would not believe, I'll be honest with you, I don't have to send as many messages as I did when I very first started, but you better believe my first several months, I spent lots and lots of time just messaging people and saying, thank you for following me. That's really how I started a lot of conversations. Thanks so much for following me. It means so much that you'd follow my journey, because it was kind of scary to put myself out there. And almost every single time it was like, you're so inspiring. I love following you, all of these things. And then I can go into the questions of like, I don't know, do you have any health goals? That sort of thing. But every single month I went in with the mentality of, I must help 3. I will not quit until I help 3. And I absolutely can help 3. I never for 1 second questioned any month whether or not I would help 3. There were times 2 months ago, people, 2 months ago, I was at Success Club 2, like halfway through the month. And I was like, what the heck am I doing? I even came live in the group. I don't know if you guys remember that. But I had that moment where it was like, okay, what am I doing? Am I seriously going to end the month with Success Club 2 right now? And I buckled down, and I ended up with Success Club 12 in the last 2 weeks of the month, because I've made this decision that Success Club is a non-negotiable for my business. So whatever it takes to get there, to help those 3 women, that's just what I do. That's what I figure out. So I would highly, highly encourage you every single month, get your blank sheet, put 3 dashes or 3 numbers or whatever, and do not stop working until you hit those 3. I just think that's what it takes at the beginning. So what questions do you have for myself or for Meredith?
Does anybody struggle with messaging people? Like just starting conversations? That's the hardest thing for me. Like the first month, I kind of rode off of like my closer people that like knew me more. But now I'm kind of like, it's kind of tapering off a little bit. And I feel like I struggle with sending messages. We have like a cup team going on, and we've kind of talked in there a little bit on how to do it, but it still feels really awkward for me to just send messages out to people. So if any of you have tips, Morgan is really good at coming up with things to say to people.
I think it's really fun to message new people. And the way I've handled it recently is I go to my stories and I skip all of you. I love you all. but I skip you because I'm like, this is not income producing. So I move past you a lot of times unless you ask me to watch for something. But I just watch people's stories and I direct message them. Like if they're showing a dog that I think is adorable, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your dog. Or if they do something hilarious, I send a bunch of laughy faces and I'm like, this is hilarious. It's all genuine. But I just seriously take 15 minutes and respond to stories just like you would if she was your best friend. Make her feel seen, make her feel known, make her feel heard. And you don't even know how much that's going to mean to her. I started coaching because of that. Megan friended me on Facebook. I took a trip to Waco and she totally stalked me and commented on probably 5 of my pictures. And I was like, oh, she noticed me. And I swear to you, like the next day I messaged her and I was like, so I've been watching you and I see you're a teacher, all because I was like, she saw me, like she's noticed me. So then I felt the green light to reach out to her because she felt like a person to me. So just start conversations. It does not have to be about health and fitness. You don't have to go in for the kill. You don't have to make a sale. Just get to know people. I have women on my Instagram who I talk to almost daily. They have no interest in joining me. And that's okay. Maybe they will eventually, but I have friends all over the nation. And
it's a good way to view it. I don't view that as fun. I view it as one of the things that I kind of have to do to make my business happen, I guess, instead of a fun opportunity to get to know people. So that's a good perspective to have on it.
It's probably my 7-ness.
Probably.
I have a girl who I've connected with over being tall. Her handle is literally "It's raining legs," and she's 6'6", by the way. Her husband's taller than her. Her kids are giant. So I was like, oh my gosh, I love her. Her husband's from Nebraska, but they live in Oregon. And I've talked to her about coaching, but we still have like had a really good relationship. And she was sick today too. And she reached out to me and just like told me, hey, well, she was joking that I was pregnant first. And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. And then we just kind of had a conversation about being sick and wishing each other well and things like that. And I've asked her about coaching, but I don't do it all the time. But she already talks to her stories occasionally. So I know eventually, maybe someday she'll be ready. But until then, it's a good Instagram friend.
I struggle making that beeline from like, oh, you had like this day at teaching and we had like a conversation, and then I don't really know ever how to shift it into like talking about coaching. And I'll tell them like about my day and like about how coaching has kind of affected me, but then the conversation tends to like fizzle and I don't really know how to get it like shifted back into it. So that's like where I struggle a lot, because I have a lot of people who like message me and talk to me about my meals or my workouts, or I talk about my dogs a ton. And then, so we have like these conversations with a ton of different people, but I struggle to always get it shifted back into like the coaching world or even just challengers. So any tips?
I think that's a thing of not overthinking it. Like a lot of times I'll be talking to somebody about something different and I'll just start by saying, well, we'll be having this conversation, and I'll be like, so how long have you been watching me? And they'll answer, I'll be like, do you ever watch my morning workouts? Just like, it doesn't have to be as smooth as you think. I don't think. I definitely think there could be ways where it's like, oh gosh, she's like coming in for the kill. But I don't think you have to overthink like sliding in perfectly. They're watching you. They know what you're doing. If they weren't interested, they would unfollow.
I also sometimes, like, if I'm telling someone about my day or whatever, I kind of am like, oh, I still have to get my workout in, or like try to mention working out or something, or, it's time for me to make supper now. I don't know. My favorite thing is like, oh, I still have to get my workout in, but I'm so glad I don't have to leave my house to do it. At least, something like that, where you can kind of put a little plug in for what you're doing, but not straightforward. Be like, want to join me? You can kind of just be like, oh, I'm so thankful that I don't actually have to leave my house since I haven't worked out yet and it's already 8 p.m. You might could just drop little things like that if you're trying not to come across too strong, or talk about, I don't know, your shake or something that you're drinking or whatever, I don't know. maybe something subtle like that, if that's more of your speed. That's more of my speed, because I do feel super awkward, you know, being more forward and blunt like that. I always like to try to find little ways to mention it, but not mention it.
I like that. I think that's really good. To be conscious of everybody's time, I want to wrap up by just highlighting a few of the things that Meredith said that I wrote down that I think are amazing. But before I do that, I'm looking around at all of you, and seriously, every single one of you, when I do watch your stories, but I definitely see you show up on your posts, and I see your stories too, but every single one of you has seriously so much to offer to anybody. So don't doubt your ability to help people. Seriously, every single one of you has a transformation. Every single one of you has something unique about you that can help a certain girl. You know, it's not our job to help everybody, but there are girls out there who need you. And I think the biggest thing our team needs to work on is just belief. Belief in yourself, belief in the programs, and belief in what we offer. Because it's seriously, I mean, I don't know about you, but it's changed my life. And I think a lot of you can say the same. So when you feel that fear of, am I going to annoy her? Am I like, I don't know, am I being too salesy? You're never going to know until you try. And even if you do come off like salesy or whatever, you're going to learn. If people keep saying no, you're going to take a look at what you're saying. You're going to learn from it. I could tell you a million horror stories of what I said, but I'll save those stories for another day, because my first messages when I first started were absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So first thing that Meredith said that I loved is, if you don't show up on your workout, like if you're not working out, tell them why. I think that's so, so important. Show your struggle. Seriously, so many people, nobody's perfect, again, unless they're those crazy like 0.1% of people, but people don't want to join you if they feel like they have to be perfect. So I think that's amazing. And again, if perfection is the mold, they don't want to start. So there has to be room for them to just be a normal human being. What attracted you? Think about that. Think about the 3 things that attracted you, both if you started as a challenger, do that. If you started as a coach, do that. Because the moment I started really talking about the things that attracted me, that's when I started getting my tribe of people. I was so scared to talk about the money. I was so scared to talk about the real reasons I started. But once I did, I started attracting the right people. So don't be afraid to talk about that. And then the last thing, which I just kind of talked about before, is don't take no. It's a not right now. And that comes with belief. Like, you just have to believe that what you offer is what they need. And once you start doing that with every single conversation, I think you're really going to see your business move.
It also keeps the self-doubt out of the way. I struggle with it like bad.
Yeah.
If it's halfway through the month and I haven't hit SC5 yet, I'm like, I'm not going to hit it. And there's still 15 days left. So
You're going
I think
to that's what you have to believe.
Change your perspective on that to not right now. It will help a lot of the junk feelings that come along with not a lot of, you know, traction in your business.
And literally every time you have that stupid negative thought of I can't do it or I can't hit Success Club, wipe it out immediately and say, no, that's a lie. I can do that. I can hit Success Club, and I will. And I'm not kidding you. The mindset shift is going to change a lot. So I hope you learned something tonight. I hope you took good notes. I hope you're able to take something, 1 or 2 things, and start implementing or changing. That way you can see some movement in your business. So that's really all I have, unless anybody has any questions. Meredith, thank you. You were awesome.
For asking me.
Nothing? All righty. Have a good night.
Peace out, friends.